World History Spring Semester Unit 1 Midpoint Quiz Study Guide. Hello everyone. Today, we're looking into why European nations began to explore and colonize new lands. First, there was intellectual curiosity. Many people wanted to learn more about the world and discover new cultures. This thirst for knowledge fueled exploration. Next, the desire for wealth played a big role. European nations wanted riches, and there was a high demand for spices, silks, pearls, and gems. These items were valuable and could make traders and countries very rich. However, the Ottoman Turks shut down the Silk Road, which was the main trade route to the east. This closure forced explorers to seek new routes for trade. Next, let's take a quick look at the Columbian Exchange, a significant process that began with Christopher Columbus's voyages in the late 15th century. This exchange connected the Old World, which includes Europe and Asia, with the New World, known today as the Americas. So, what exactly is the Columbian Exchange? It was a widespread transfer of plants, animals, cultures, people, and various commodities between these two worlds. One of the major benefits of this exchange was the introduction of new foods from the New World to the Old World. Among these, the potato stands out as one of the most important crops. It provided sustenance to Europeans and became a staple that significantly improved diets across the continent. Additionally, the exchange included livestock. Animals such as horses and cattle were brought to the Americas, transforming transportation and farming for indigenous peoples. Culturally, the Columbian Exchange led to the sharing of ideas, technologies, and even languages, enriching societies on both sides of the Atlantic. Like Europe and Africa, important commodities that were shared from the New World to the Old World included corn, potatoes, tomatoes, and tobacco, as well as quinine sweet potatoes, avocados, peppers, cassava, peanuts, beans, vanilla, pumpkin, squash, pineapples, cacao beans, used in making chocolate, and turkeys. From the Old World, many things came to the New World. They brought animals like cows, pigs, and sheep. These animals gave people food and help with work. They also brought grains like wheat and barley, which became important for cooking. In addition, the coffee bean, peach, pear, olive, banana, sugar cane, onion, turnip, grapes, citrus fruits, and honeybees. Lastly, a variety of diseases would particularly hurt indigenous tribes living in the New World. These included smallpox, influenza, typhus, measles, malaria, diphtheria, and whooping cough. Take time to review this chart and the graphic we just showed you in order to get a better understanding of what was exchanged between the New World and the Old World, and pay particular attention to the directions of those exchanges. The Aztec Empire was a powerful civilization that thrived in modern-day Mexico. The Aztecs were ruled by kings, priests, and nobles, who guided their society with strong leadership. Their culture was influenced by earlier civilizations, especially the Olmec and the Mayans. They adopted important ideas like written language, accurate calendars, and impressive pyramids, which can still be seen today. To support their empire, the Aztecs relied on alliances with other groups for goods, resources, and tributes. Farming was essential, and due to limited land, they created chinampas, artificial floating islands that allowed them to grow crops effectively. The Aztecs achieved remarkable advancements, including accurate calendars, grand temples, and cities, along with impressive medical practices. Their legacy continues to inspire and educate us about this fascinating civilization. Next, let's take a quick look at one of the greatest civilizations in South America, the Inca Empire. The Inca were ruled by an emperor and a group of government officials who helped manage their vast territory. They conquered many surrounding tribes, spreading their language and religion throughout the region. Living in the mountains, the Incas practiced terrace farming. This means they built flat areas on the slopes to grow crops, primarily corn. To protect their terraces from heat and erosion, they used stone materials during construction. The Inca were known for their impressive achievements. They built an extensive network of roads that connected their empire, making travel and trade much easier. They also used gold to create beautiful everyday items, showcasing their skill in craftsmanship. Now let's talk about Hernán Cortés, the Spanish conqueror who changed the course of history in Mexico. In 1519, Cortés landed on the shores of the Aztec Empire, driven by the quest for wealth and glory. Using a mix of military strategy and deception, Cortés managed to defeat the powerful Aztec civilization. One of his most notorious tactics was germ warfare. He gave Native Americans blankets contaminated with smallpox, a disease that devastated the indigenous population. This act resulted in the deaths of millions, weakening the Aztecs and making conquest easier. Cortés's arrival marked the beginning of a brutal era for the indigenous people. His actions led to the fall of the Aztec Empire and opened the door for Spanish colonization in the Americas. The legacy of Hernán Cortés is complex. While he is often viewed as a conqueror, his actions also led to significant cultural and demographic changes that still affect Mexico today. Now let's look at another explorer and conquistador from Spain, Francisco Pizarro, who was the Spanish conqueror famous for his role in the downfall of the Inca Empire. In the early 16th century, Pizarro led an expedition that ultimately defeated the Inca king, Atahualpa, in 1532. After conquering the Incas, Pizarro claimed the territory for Spain and named it Peru. His victory opened the door for Spanish colonization in South America. Pizarro's conquests led to the establishment of Spanish rule, which had profound effects on the region. One of the most significant impacts of Pizarro's actions was the exploitation of gold and silver mines in Peru. These mines became a major source of wealth for Spain, fueling European economies and leading to increased colonization in the Americas. However, this also resulted in the suffering and decline of indigenous populations due to forced labor and disease. Pizarro's legacy is one of both wealth and tragedy, shaping the history of South America for centuries to come. Lastly, let's take a peek into mercantilism, an economic theory that dominated European thought from the 16th to the 18th centuries. Mercantilism emphasized the importance of accumulating wealth, primarily through the control of resources. In this system, European powers established colonies in the New World, where they extracted valuable raw materials like gold, silver, and agricultural products. These resources were often produced through forced labor, exploiting indigenous people and enslaved Africans. Once harvested, these raw materials were shipped back to the Old World, or Europe, where they were transformed into manufactured goods. These goods were then sold both in Europe and back to the colonies, creating a cycle of wealth generation for the mother country. Mercantilism was seen as the best way to generate national wealth, as countries believed that a strong economy depended on a favorable balance of trade, meaning that to generate wealth a nation needed to produce and sell goods to other countries at a rate that far surpassed how much it was buying from other countries. This system not only enriched European nations, but also had devastating impacts on the societies and cultures of the New World.